Hello, Romina.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very pleased and thrilled about the opportunity to give an interview for Youth Express Network.
And do you know for which occasion is this interview?
Well, if I remember correctly, it was my first encounter with Youth Express Network. It was when actually you brought me to the network.
Oh, I did my magic.
I'm happy you did it.
I'm also happy. When was that?
That was back in 2011, when you persuaded me to assist you for the theme of the cross-generational dialogue.
Do you remember the topic of the project?
Mm-hmm. It was a seminar that would gather families or let's say people involved in families, not necessarily participating with the entire family at the seminar. And it was about bridging generations within the family.
And why you accept my crazy invitation to join me in this project?
Because it seemed like a very big challenge. and thinking back of it, it still is.
And it was for sure a big one. Do you remember the impact of the training, of the event that it had on you?
Yes. At first, one of the first impacts was that I became closer to the younger generations. Also, because part of my, let's say, job description as your assistant was to take care of the smallest, the smaller, let's say, members of the smaller participants, the younger participants. So that would include the 2-year-old Fabi from Romania and some other children. Mm-hmm. So yes, I was happy to babysit, actually. It was challenging to run after all of them around and seeing how magically they understand each other without speaking the same language or even speaking any language for toddlers.
Exactly.
So yeah, this was my first and most significant impact. And then it was to see how the cultural background of the participants is sometimes it's a heavy is a heavy backpack, it's a heavy situation and can lead to, let's say, uncomfortable situations.
Yes, I remember that we also had strong moments, emotional moments, small conflicts.
Yeah, with crying every night, but not from us.
Exactly. And what do you think it worked? What made the magic to happen? Because it was a successful project until the end.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed, it was a successful project, and I think the magic was the commitment of the participants to overcome their own obstacles and their own prejudice about who they are and how they should act with themselves and with the group. It might sound a bit abstract, but it's when you deal a lot with emotions and when you deal a lot with cultural backgrounds, because a family can develop its own culture and its own set of let's say values and social norms. So this is what we dealt with at that time, with emotions and with cultural values. And we somehow managed to make the participants be more aware of their role in the community as a member of the community, not as the center of the community.
Yeah, that's true. And do you remember any funny moments from that experience? At least one?
Funny moments. Storytelling session, and then it was the music animation session. And also it was in the summertime, around summer solstice, so it was also La Fête de la Musique in Alsace. So we went to, let's say, to the neighboring villages and watched bands play in the streets, and it was fantastic.
Great, so you said that was the moment when you met Yen.
Indeed.
What is your relationship status now with Yen?
Well, I sort of stayed committed and engaged with Yen ever since. I try to be as involved as possible. And I was also team member in several projects. I was a rapporteur for another one, just to see how the seminar looks from different angles, you know. So what I like most about Yen is that it's a living network, and so it's dynamic, and maybe some transitions, and maybe some let's say moments in its life when there are shifts, maybe of vision, but this is also, it belongs to the statute of a living entity.
True. And because time is not staying still, I'm sure that very soon the babies that were participating in our project will become future members of Yen. Do you have any advice for them or for the network itself?
Yes, to keep an eye on the future toddlers that will participate in Yen activity, and not let them crawl all over the yards and hide under the benches for too long.
Exactly. And for the network, any message? And now that it has 25 years.
Wow, time flies fast. And in my wish for Yen, I say that 25 years is the start of a beautiful century. So yes, I would love to see this network to be healthy and stable and expand even more, because it's a very generous mission to strive for social inclusion. It's something that humanity really needs in these times.
So see you in 100 years or 75 years.
Of course, we will still be pretty and alive.